Welcome. This is a continuation or a third series of leg love, attention and love to the lower body. So please come face the top of your mat. Take your feet as wide as your hips or even slightly wider. Bend your knees, take your fingertips to the ground. Move the tops of your inner thighs down and then widen from your inner thighs towards your outer hips. Then reach and lengthen your arms up as you extend your chest forward, move your hips back. Lift from your inner armpits, your triceps to create more space between your ears and your shoulders. Enjoy your breath. Keeping the length, push all the way up to standing, and then exhale, release, and relax your arms. Inhale, sweep your arms to the sky, and then exhale, bend your knees, fold over your legs. Then please walk back, downward facing dog. In down dog, bend your knees, lift your tailbone towards the sky, and then move the tops of your inner thighs up towards the sky. Widen your inner thighs towards your outer hips, and then lengthen from your outer hips down towards your heels. With an inhale, lift your right leg to the height of your hips. Bring your right leg forward for pigeon pose. So your right knee comes behind your right ankle. Your right shin is at about a 45-degree angle. And then your right toes, again, are flexed, but you're on the top of your right foot. Walk your left leg back, then walk your hands back so they're beside your hips. Now pull your heels isometrically towards each other so you feel your hips become more in line with each other. Then lift your lower belly and hinge forward, keeping the length of the spine. Let your head rest on something. So if not the floor, then stack your fists for your head to rest. Pay attention to the hips. Continue to hug your knees and your heels towards each other so the hips stay level. There will be a tendency to lean on one side. Try to avoid leaning and rather actively hug the heels towards each other so the hips stay level. With the hips level, then you can release. Aim for a release over a lean. Relax your shoulders, release any tension in your jaw, and enjoy your breath. With an inhale, lift your head away from your hands, plant your hands, step your right leg back, downward facing dog. With an inhale, lift your left leg to the height of your hips, bring your left knee behind your left wrist, take your left shin at about a 45-degree angle, flex your left toes, and then come to the top of your left foot. Then walk your right foot back, walk your hands back, hug your heels isometrically towards each other, and lift the sides of your waist. Then keeping the hips level, hinge with length over your front leg. Let your head rest on something. So either stack your fists, your hands, or let your head rest on the ground. And again, watch that you don't lean onto your left hip, but rather hug your heels in so your hips stay connected and level, and then release at the hips, release at the shoulders, and let go of any tension in the jaw. Observe your breath. The end of your next breath, inhale, lift your torso, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. And then please lower to your knees. As you lower to your knees, walk your legs or your knees together, Then lift your right leg, take it over your left calf, bring it over to the left, and then swing your heel side to side so that you have room to sit back on. And then your knees are stacked. Now, if you sit back and one sit bone is not on the ground, then sit on something, sit on a blanket or on towels. As best as you can, walk your heels so they're in line with each other. Now, if this is really challenging, you might also take one leg, like the bottom leg underneath, and take it in half the pose. Flex your toes towards your knees, then lean forward and press your knees towards the center as you, from the hips, push your feet away from the center. So it's similar to hugging your shins towards your midline. You're hugging your knees towards the midline. And then you're widening from your inner thighs towards your outer hips by pushing your feet apart from each other. Keep your lower back moving in towards your spine and the sides of your waist lifting. And then let your hands rest either by your side or in front of you. Keeping the length, you may hinge forward, but only if you can feel your lower back still moving in towards your spine. You don't want it to move to the back plane of your body. Try to relax at the hips and enjoy your breath. As you inhale, lift your torso, and then press forward. Come back to your hands and knees. Unravel your right leg, bring your knees together. Then lift your left leg over and behind your right leg. Swing your legs to the side, and then have a seat. As best as you can, walk your heels so they're in line with each other. Flex your toes towards your knees. Bring your hands by your side and lift the sides of your waist up so your lower back moves in towards your spine. And then take your hands to your knees and gently press your legs or your knees towards the midline as you actively push your feet away from the midline. You should feel that fire up in your hips a little bit. So the knees hug in, the feet press away from the midline. And then you can release that and try to settle in your hips, maintain the length in the spine, soften your skin, and observe your breath. And then as you inhale, rise, lean forward, release your legs. Swing your legs to the side and have a seat. Agni Sambhasana is next, a fire log pose. So with your feet in front of you, bring your left leg underneath your right, and then lift your right leg. Keep your toes flexed. Lift your right ankle so it comes on top of your left knee. But on top of the knee, it's actually more at the base of the thigh, so it's above the knee. Then your knee might be upright. It might be able to rest. It's fine. The gap between your knee and your foot is irrelevant to doing the pose. So flex your toes towards your knees. You shouldn't say it's irrelevant. You'll feel it in different stages. But take your hands by your side. Push down to lift the sides of your waist up. And again, try to roll to your inner thighs so you widen and move your outer hips back and apart. That will help move the lower back in towards your spine. And then maintaining this, you might stay upright, and this is as far as you can go. Or if you can keep the length in the spine, hinge forward. Keep your toes flexed towards each other and relax in the hips, or try to settle in the hips. Relaxing might be a far-fetched dream, but try to release any tension in the hips. The same principle can apply here. You can press your hands on your knees, and as you press your knees in, push your feet away from the midline. And then release that and enjoy a few more breaths. As you inhale, rise, keep your toes flexed as you lean back, release your feet, and then take your right foot underneath, place your left foot on top so the ankle comes just above the knee or on the base of the thigh. So the legs are actually quite narrow in this. The feet almost hang off. Flex your toes so they flex towards each other. And then bring your hands by your side and push down into the earth so you roll the inner thighs in. And by doing that, you'll feel the outer hips widen and the lower back move in. Now, keeping this lift, start to hinge forward. Walk your hands in front of you. And again, you can take your hands to your knees and gently press your knees towards each other as you move, press your feet actively away from each other. And then release that and let yourself settle in your hips. Relax your shoulders, release any tension in your jaw, and observe your breath. Then use your inhale to rise. Lean back, place your feet on the ground, and then extend your legs. Take your hands and manually roll your thighs in. And again, if in sitting this way, you feel yourself move to the back plane of your body, then sit on something. Elevate your hips so your lower back can move in. Bring your hands by your side and lift the sides of your waist up so you can draw your lower back in towards, you're moving your lower back in towards the base of the spine. Let your thighs release down and then stay lifted in your torso as you hinge. The hinging might not go far. Maintain the length. Release your inner thighs down towards the ground and let each breath give you more of an extension, even if it's just energetically, and expansion as you fold towards your legs. Soften your skin and observe your breath. And then as you inhale, rise. Sit with your legs crossed for a brief moment. Bring your hands by your side, lift the sides of your waist up, feel your lower back move in towards your spine. Roll your shoulders onto your back and then rest your hands on your thighs. Close your eyes for a moment. And again, bring attention to your legs. Feel them settled and yet vibrant and alive, full of energy. And then bring your hands to your heart center with a sense of gratitude. Thank you. Namaste.